You're now being inspired by D. Williams. D. Williams on the D Factor Radio Show.
Are you ready?
Unleash your ideas.
It's time to unleash your ideas on the D Factor Radio Show with D. Williams.
I can feel something new. Feel my strength pulling through. Dreams into reality. Yes, I believe in me. Just waiting, you'll see. Dreams. The normal sitting around. Yeah, this is my time now. I'm gonna show you how to live your dreams.
We help businesses launch and grow. So what's your idea?
Hey, and guys, we are back. We are in the moments with Unleash Your Ideas segment here on the D Factor Radio Show. And we've been talking to Jimmy Burgess, who is absolutely amazing. He's been sharing his story with us. And I tell you, Jimmy, I am super inspired by some of the things that you have experienced in the growth. I think that's the piece that really motivates me to hear someone else kind of went through a scenario where they thought things were perfect and then they fell apart, right? It's kind of like an eye opener. Right. And then to come back and say, you know what? I am stronger than this. I am bigger than this. I am better than this. I can do anything, be anything, and then actually go and do it, right?
Right.
And then to be able to feel that joy of, yes, I've conquered, that challenge or that feeling, and I'm dealing with it and I'm living in my world and my success and my dream, but I also have the opportunity now to motivate, inspire, and help someone else to conquer theirs. That is just an amazing comeback story.
Well, thank you.
And so today, Jimmy, I brought a special guest on the line. His name is Matt, and Matt owns a business that is called 311weightloss.com. And he has reached out and looking for some direction. I want to make the introduction, and let's see if we can get some hands-on love and experience here. Matt, are you on the line?
I am, Dee.
Hi, Matt. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm awesome, and I'm so humbled that you came on the show to talk a little bit about your business and some of the challenges that you're experiencing. Thank you so much for being a part of the D Factor Radio Show.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Awesome. So Jimmy's on the line. He's listening in, and I'm going to actually start this conversation out a little bit. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your business and where you are now and what you're looking to do?
Sure, absolutely. And, hey, Jimmy, how are you doing?
Doing great, Matt.
Good. The business is basically it's a simplified approach to eating, and losing weight. It was something that I came up for myself, actually, struggling with weight loss for many years, and I knew there had to be something simpler. So it was something I came up with an idea, and I had other people start to try, and they really they succeeded with it too. So I decided, why not? This is something I could really help other people with. I came up with an idea to make to put the system together and start something new. So I thought I'd go out there and try it. So the first year, I launched last year around March and set the business up, and I thought I'd just go website, online sales, and give that direction a try for the first year. And it was, needless to say, probably a miserable failure. I spent more money on online advertising and pretty much exhausted most of my funds trying to advertise and market, and it brought me really no results. So the first year was really an eye-opening, learning experience. Unfortunately, it was a painful learning experience.
Right.
But after that first year and struggling with trying to find direction, I had a lot of people comment on it and just wanted to get everybody's feedback. I gave away many units. I had them promoted at shows and just to have people try it. But I went and took a different direction this year, so I revamped the website. I made it, I had it kind of as seen on TV type feel to the first website, and I went ahead and turned it around this year, made it look a lot more professional and clean, and I wanted to move the business away from a seasonal business where everybody thinks about weight loss as a January 1st New Year's resolution type issue, and then you're done. But I want to take it to a different level and trying to get in with the medical community, because it's not a fad diet, it's not a joke. It's just a simple way to approach eating and lose weight and still not make yourself miserable. So this year I'm trying something new, and I'm just kind of it's just kind of on hold right now. It's difficult, you know. I'm trying to make ends meet with my family, and I'm a stay-at-home dad. I work for another company, and you know, I'm struggling really.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, let me ask you just real quick, and let me just tell you this. I think everybody that truly makes it begins out struggling. So don't feel like you're alone. I mean, I think everybody that has ever done anything big can look back and find the times when they questioned, am I doing the right thing? So don't feel like you're alone there. I mean, even when things are going great, you still wonder those things. So don't feel bad about that. Let me ask you one question. Tell me a little bit more about how it actually works, as far as how does the system work? In other words, what is it? Is it something you input online, or tell me exactly how the system works?
Well, it's very simple actually. You eat repetitively in bi-hourly increments in a repetitive pattern of it's actually units, food units. And what I've done, I've made a chart of different foods, and it's all based. It's kind of based on a caloric scale. So it ranges. It can range anywhere. It's from a 3 and a 1 pattern. 3, 1, 1 is the name of the system. So it's a 3, 1, 1 pattern you repeat consistently throughout the day. So it is very repetitive. So the units are based on calories, and it's anywhere from 1 to 130 for a 1, and 3 to 330 for a 3. So it's it kind of gives you some breathing room. You can eat anything you want, and basically you have the watch to remind you, hey, it's time to eat, and you start your day when you want to go. So when you're ready every morning, you just hit go on the watch. It starts your day for you and tells you how many, where you're at in the day, how many days you got left in the program, and then just reminds you, hey, it's time to eat. And you can eat anything as long as it's in a 1 or a 3 pattern. So it's a very brainless, it's a simplistic approach that is hard to fail at. And, people laughed at it first, and I did it, and I lost 37 pounds the first time I did it, and it was the easiest thing I've ever done. And then one of my coworkers did it, and her husband lost like 27 pounds in like 3 weeks, and he's like, this thing's amazing. So I gave it to one of my marketing guys, and he'd been struggling with weight loss. He works out all the time. He couldn't lose his weight, and he lost 16 pounds doing it. And he's like, man, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. So it's sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things, and people try to figure out how to lose weight. And basically what this does, it keeps your metabolism running consistently, so it never stops running, and you don't overeat, so your body continuously burns off what it eats, and then it starts attacking your fat. So your motor is constantly running, and you're constantly, burning calories. And it feels very transparent because you're not having to plan all these special meals. You're not having to buy certain pills. You're not having to do any of this other thing. You don't have to, break your back and exercise. All you have to do is just eat in different units. And at the end of the day, believe it or not, you've actually done. If you took it from an exercise perspective, you've burned enough calories every day for 2 hours worth of exercise.
Great. Hey, let me kind of get you. Let me take you back and kind of just see exactly where we are, and kind of just see where you are in relation to these things. Because I really think, starting a business, the big 3 questions to ask is what, who, and where. So the first thing is you just kind of have answered. What do you want to teach? You want to help people lose weight. So from that standpoint, one thing that I want to encourage you also is I love the way that Lisa Sasevich puts it. She says that when you have a product, they're more worried about the destination than they are about the plane that's going to get them there. You know what I mean? And so from that standpoint, I think there's power in those stories of the transformation that you've had with those other people. You can just look on television. Any kind of weight loss program that you watch on television, it's always focused on showing the before and after pictures. And it's talking about the story. It's the story of how the people lost weight. And then once you've piqued that interest, then obviously the value of the system comes in. So I think you've answered who, but I want to get even more as far as who, because the smaller and the more niche you can get, the better and easier it is to identify who you're targeting. I'll give you an example. Who is it that you would say is the ideal client? Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is there a certain age? In other words, you almost want to make it where you've almost got the ideal person that you're going to be marketing to, so that you can kind of identify and get very niche on who you're doing. If I can, I know that Dee says this all the time. That you got to find a niche to get rich. And so, who is it? Who would be your ideal client that you would say this would be for?
Well, the market that I'm targeting is people who are up to 50 to 60 pounds overweight, men or women. It doesn't matter. And there's obviously many people. Everybody is different, and different factors will affect their weight loss, whether it's a psychological or physical. People could have a problem with their thyroid that where they have medical needs. So my basic my target market is people who are up to 50 to 60 pounds overweight, and no medical issues that are causing their problems. And it doesn't matter if they're male or female.
Okay. All right, and here's another thing is even if it doesn't, I'll give you an example with my, you really want to identify that person. In other words, you almost want to be able to visualize who it is you're targeting, because once you visualize them, we can move to that next. I'll give you an example with my coaching program. I typically work with family men that are looking to add an additional income. But from a bonus job, I guess you'd say, or they want to start a business that can grow into a full-time income. But here's the thing about it is, many of my coaching clients are women. But when I'm marketing to a certain specific person. It ends up filtering other places. But when I get niche like that, it gives me the ability to find those people. So would you say that more women or more men respond to your product?
Well, I would think that more women usually do.
Okay.
I've come to the belief, and this is, it's not I'm not trying to put myself in a negative mindset. I always try to stay positive, and in all things I do. But this is a thing that's very difficult for people, because I think there's a lot of stigma around weight loss programs and products, and there's been a lot of negative stigma. And for me to overcome that, people say, it's just another gimmick, and I find that, maybe I'm thinking there's a lot of resistance there, because, I've tried to, I've done a lot of giveaways of this program just to try it. And if it's not the stigma, it's the following through of a long-term, this is actually a pretty short program. It's 6 weeks, 42 days. It's not that long of a program, and it's very simple, but the commitment and the stigma is what I find is my biggest challenge, I believe,
Right. And let me just tell you, here's the other thing to realize, though. That weight loss industry is one of the largest industries in the world right now. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than the health of other people. So from that standpoint, understand, and typically, I got to be perfectly frank with you, when I've been on the cusp of breakthroughs, that's when I've had the most so-called haters that'll say, well, this is just another whatever, or you can't do that, or so you almost want to embrace that. Here's the great thing about critics is that typically the critic gives you the ability to realize that they are the ones that are really going to have the ability to let you know you're doing something different. Because if you're not getting any criticism, odds are you're not doing enough. So have some comfort in that. In that, there's going to be those naysayers, but here's the thing to focus on is when you get that person in your mind that's 50 pounds overweight. Imagine. How many days did you say the program is?
Hold on, Jimmy. Let's give me one quick second. Let's take a legal break. Just 1 second. Stay exactly where you are. Guys, we'll be right back. You're listening to the D Factor Radio Show.